Okay, I'm back for part 2. Yeah, it turned out that last one was right at 10 minutes. Okay, this will probably be my last video, at least for the day. Hopefully, I did look at the time this time, so I'll be able to tell how long it is. It's going to be right at 9 or 10 minutes. You only missed one hand. I folded this queen 7 and 9-4. Yeah, it's an important thing to realize that a player bluffs. I figured out that this player, PZL Master, was the type to bluff on the last hand because he raised pre-flop, bet the flop, and then folded on the turn when I bet. So that let me know that he was probably a bluffer, and that's why I decided to check with the King 9 and allow him to bluff. Sorry, my phone was going off. Allow him to bluff that river if he didn't have anything, which I didn't think he did, and I had top pair. That was in the last video, so if you don't know what I'm talking about, just check that last video out. Okay, normally I would consider raising because I think this is a tight player. However, this player just sat down and she's probably just going to call whatever I raise. If Teller had raised from over here, I would definitely call. It's closer here because it's closer now because he raised from under the gun. I'm just going to fold. Because he raised with so many players to act, it's more likely that he has a strong hand. So I just didn't feel like calling. I decided to play a shorthand disable also for you guys, just so I could get in some more situations where I'm not just playing good starting hands and I'm doing some more speculative things. In shorthanded games, you're going to have to play more, I guess play more poker. You're going to have to do some raising with some weaker hands, continuation bet on the flop, figure out what people are doing, things like that. In a big game like this, you can kind of just wait on really strong hands if you want to. You don't really have to do any bluffing ever if you don't want to. I still recommend making continuation bets if there aren't too many players in the pot with you after the flop, assuming you raised pre-flop. But other than that, I would never bluff in these games on the turn or river. But if I just to further describe what I was trying to say a second ago, if I raise with tens and I have 3 players who call, or let's say 2 players call, I'm gonna go ahead and bet on a flop of queen 7 deuce, even though I don't have top pair. That's just to find out if they have a queen. It's unlikely that one of my opponents has a queen, and it's going to be difficult for them to call with a 7. And if they do call with a 7, they might not bet later on, and they might not make me fold my hand. One other quick note. Like I said, this player is prone to bluff. Obviously, he's aggressive pre-flop. If possible, you want to sit to the left of a player like this. That way, you always know what they do before you have to make a decision. It just makes it easier on yourself. So if you notice, or if you know that a player is aggressive, try to sit on their left. And if you know that a player is tight, it's easy to sit on their right. I don't know that she's tight, but if you do know that a player is tight, it's a good idea to sit on the right if you can. If he raises and he's the only one in the pot, I'm going to call because he's shown the propensity to raise with weak holdings, bet once, and then quit. Also, I'm going to raise him since he's just limped in. It's unlikely that he has a strong hand. And I plan to take it down on the flop. I'm going to call him and then bet the turn if he checks. And if he bets twice, then I'll fold. Unless it's really small. Yeah, I'm going to let him have it. Actually, not sure that he would value bet since that's a king. I'm raising. Dang it. Well, I was going to say I'm raising, and I'll explain why in a second, because the timer is so short. I'm used to playing poker on Poker Stars or Full Tilt, where you have a lot of time. But, I was going to raise because I'm going to check here and keep the pot small since it's a weak top here. But, I was going to raise because with the king on the turn and him betting again, it's unlikely that he would value bet since the king is a scary card, unless he had a two pair or something. So I was going to raise expecting him to turn over, or expecting him to fold. There's a good chance that I'm losing this hand, but I don't think I can fold top pair. And that's why, because players will have junk so often. I'm gonna raise. Just gonna try and take advantage of this player. Well, now that this player's in, I'm virtually pot committed. If I hit a pair, I'm gonna have to call this player. Now I'm gonna bet 8,000. Well, I was gonna bet 8,000 and put this player all in. I'm gonna call PZL Master and fold if he bets again. It's unlikely that I have the best hand here. He was offering me a really good price, and he's been known to fold. So, if he checks to me on the river, I might fire a bet. I think he's got a jack, most likely. But I can't call. Honestly, I think he checked on the turn just so he didn't have to face a raise. Not because he had nothing. He wouldn't bet with a 9, so I'm going to go ahead and raise him now. I will fold if he re-raises. But you see that he folds. Obviously he would have checked a 9. See, he had the best best non-pocket pair. But he folded to me because I was representing such strength with my raise. There's no way he would bet a 9. Almost everyone will check with 3 9s on that board to try and allow, well, because it's just so unlikely that they're going to get called. It's so hard to have a strong hand. I'm going to try just coming out and leading at this pot. Actually, as soon as this hand's over, I'm going to have to stop the video. We're right at 10 minutes. Okay, I'm just gonna bet for value. Looks like he has something he wants to call with. And that's that. Alright guys, hope you enjoyed the videos. Let me know if you have any questions.